Oh my god! This is the greatest game I've ever seen in my entire life! I've gotta have it!
You loser. You can't play Sonic. You have a Super Nintendo. Sonic's only on the Sega. Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Wait, are you serious? Oh man. I gotta go ask my mom. I need to have Sonic.
Later that day.
Mamá, ¿me puedes comprar Sonic, por favor?
Ni un juego más en esta pinche casa. Jamás te voy a comprar otro juego. Todo lo que tú haces es jugar videojuego. Ponte las pilas y estudia.
Please, ma, por favor. Todos mis amigos están jugando Sonic. Corre bien rápido. Es el más chido, por favor.
Ya te dije que no. Retírate de aquí, por favor. Y de todas maneras, ya tenemos Sonic en esta pinche casa. Por favor, retírate.
¿Cómo podemos tener Sonic si...
¿Quieres la chancla?
Ok, ya me voy. Man. I guess it's time to play Sonic. I guess. Oh my god! This is better than Sonic! I actually said that. It's actually ridiculous that at one point I thought that the Speedy Gonzales game was better than Sonic. That is an actual thing that I said out loud playing Speedy Gonzales, Los Gatos Bandidos. Don't worry. This video isn't really about me trying to explain why Speedy Gonzales is better than Sonic, 10 reasons why, or anything crazy like that. It's just a quick 0.5 video so I can just highlight this game because contrary to the terrible reviews that this game actually has, I think it is a hidden gem for the Super Nintendo. And to be frank, I feel like the internet already knew that, because if you're familiar with the days of the creepypastas in the early internet days, this game is the basis for Sonic 4, or better known as Sonic Super Nintendo, or for some even crazier ones, like the cursed Sonic cartridges where he's bleeding out of his eyes. Most of those levels, most of those videos with the creepypastas are ROM hacks from the Speedy Gonzales game. And as a lover of all things creepy from the early internet days, I know that that was extremely popular back in the early aughts. So much so that if you look at the comments of any gameplay related to this game, everybody is either talking about the ROM hacks, Sonic 4, Sonic SNES, just mind blown that this was an actual game on the Super Nintendo. You're probably thinking, what's this game even about? Directly from the Internet Archives, it says, in a small Mexican village, all the mice were enjoying a fiesta until Los Gatos Bandidos, a group of cats, came and kidnapped them all. Only Slowpoke escaped and sent for his cousin, the fastest mouse in Mexico, Speedy Gonzales. Following the trail of the Bandidos, Speedy will enter each level and try to rescue as many mice as possible while chasing after cheese and avoiding natural hazards. Arriba, arriba! The gameplay in Speedy Gonzales resembles the Sonic the Hedgehog series more than anything else. For the most part, Speedy will run across fields and up slopes and into tunnels. There are also mousetraps which function similarly to Sonic's trampolines and will propel Speedy into the air. Speedy has a short-range kick for attacking and can occasionally pick up items and use them at later times. Thank you, Internet Archives, for that beautiful synopsis. So let's get right into it. The setting of Speedy Gonzales is chef kiss. Beautiful. It takes full advantage of everything that the Super Nintendo can do in terms of color display. And honestly, if you look at any of the reviews for Speedy Gonzales, everyone's going to complain about everything except how the game looks. It actually looks fantastic. Each level that you go through is so distinct and the color palettes are just beautiful. I mean, right off the bat on the first level, a mix of the music and just the beautiful warm colors that you feel, you know that you're in Mexico and the music is just bumping, and not in the way that you would think like a Mexican fiesta. You're probably hearing it right now in the background. Like, it's just beautiful Like, to this day, I'm just driving around, and then in my head, I just think, it is addictingly good. All the action, the beautiful sunset in the background, fighting weird creatures. Like, I don't even know what half these creatures are. There's like this fur ball that just like burps as it jumps at you, and you gotta kick it right in the face. There's bat cats, there's snowman, there's space creatures, and all of them you can kick in the face. Eat your heart out, Sonic. But anyways, the game it really is beautiful, and going into the first level, right off the bat, like I said, that's very much apparent. But then you continue on into other levels in the game. I mean, you're in a forest for one of the levels, and the mood definitely changes from one level to the next. But then it just gets more and more ridiculous as you continue playing this game. And what I mean by that is, like, you go from the first level, very mountainous, very cave-like, and then you're in the forest, and then you're in the city, which is very much Mexico City, and then it just takes a turn. You're in like a haunted house with like acid at the bottom of these pits, and you see like the skeletons of other mice just like being hung on the walls. Like, what the hell is this? But like all of the other levels before it, the music just hits so good. You almost forget that you're in a torture house for rats. It's kind of cool. Then, of course, you get your classic snow levels like any other game from the Super Nintendo, Genesis era. More generic stuff. Until, again, another weird turn. You're in space for reasons. You're just in space. You get the third boss there. We'll get to the boss and the enemies a little bit more in just a bit. But the settings are so varied that they keep you on your toes, especially for that time where there were no saves. There were no... I don't even think there's like a code system to get back to levels. You just play it through raw dog, baby. And you're in space. And the music, again, I know I keep repeating this, but the music for this game is so good. So much so that I'm going to link some of my favorites down in the comments below. The music for this game is just top notch. But after all that, beating your enemies in space, doing your thing, you end up back on Earth on the pirate ship, which, very much gives me Donkey Kong Country vibes, but whatever. Ends up in a pirate ship, beat the final boss, and you're good to go. Which, speaking of bosses, I really do enjoy the bosses in these games. They're all varied, and they're all difficult, really. The main objective of the game is, of course, to find all the mice and beat up all of the Gatos Bandidos, the gang that Sylvester surrounds himself with, the ones that kidnapped all of your fellow rat Mexicans, And it is very rewarding. Are they Sonic level bosses? No, like not even close, but definitely memorable. That first boss is a giant muscular cat that climbs through the trees, and then actually Sonic spins throughout the whole level, and you got to avoid like these acorns, if I remember correctly, falling from the sky, and you got to beat him with your kick, and it's just so satisfying. And again, the sound direction that this game has, these kicks sound very punchy. In a world before rumble and haptic feedback, you solely depended on the sound to deliver that right in their stupid face. And what's a boss without a sick soundtrack? Just a nice punchy boss theme to like make this battle for 6, 7, 8-year-old me feel like the stakes were high. And this is just the first boss. It's crazy how memorable these bosses are, because at the end of the day, there's only 3 bosses in this game. One of the main bandit cats for this game is an astronaut, and you basically gotta lure him into a trap right in the middle of the stage so that it shocks him, and that's how you do damage. This was the hardest boss for me as a kid. I could never get past this. I was finally a grown man by the time I saw the end of this actual game. My runs usually ended here with this boss, but I was rewarded with the most funky music you can think of when fighting this boss. Again, guys, please listen to the OST for this game. You will not be disappointed. But anyways, like I said, I was a grown man by the time I finally beat this game and got to the pirate ship level. I was thinking I was gonna see Sylvester, but I just see another generic bandido cat. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna beat this boss, and it's a cat with guns that's coming out of barrels and shooting, which honestly speaking was a lot easier than the space cat, but I digress. I thought once I beat him that it was time to beat Sylvester's face in, but I beat the game and no Sylvester. I was like, what the heck? All of this and I can't even beat the main bandit cat? Sylvester's beatdown is basically left to a cutscene at the end of the game, which is a cop-out in my opinion. Maybe they couldn't afford the rights to have another Looney Tune characters in this Looney Tune game. I don't know, but regardless of the fact, even without being able to fight Sylvester himself, the game is just really good. As much as it is a clone to Sonic, it does things just in its own way. The game definitely is slower than Sonic. I mean, just looking at the gameplay here, which shout out to Raven XP, I'm using his gameplay for this video, but you see that it's significantly slower than Sonic. But what I think it lacks in speed, the platforming to me is just amazing. The snappiness of using the mouse traps to like spring yourself up in the air, the random long jumps you have to do to get to your mouse friend that you need to free, which let me tell you, freeing these mice is one of the most satisfying things you can do in all of SNES, because you are greeted with the most awesome sound effect when you collect these mice. I'm gonna go ahead and play it.
Gracias.
Yup, a short little gracias. This game is so ingrained in my family's gamer brain that to this day, in the year of our Lord 2025, almost 31 years since its release, anytime anybody does anything for us, we will randomly just be like, gracias, knowing dang well where that sound effect came from. And even more so, that little gracias has extended to like different members of our family who have never even played this game. My sister-in-law does that. My wife does that. And they have never touched this game a day in their lives. And no, it's not because they speak Spanish or anything, because they do it in the exact tone and voice that you hear it in the game. This game has spread amongst all of us, really. This game is just beauty. It's just awesome. It's great. Don't listen to the reviews, which I think somebody gave it a 50% or a 5.8 out of 10, which fair enough. I mean, I guess back in the day when you were comparing it to the Hedgehog, of course you were going to look at it very negatively, but this game is super cheap. If you have a Super Nintendo laying around, and you can get this thing off of eBay right now for like 15 bucks. So if you got 15 bucks laying around, a Super Nintendo, and you want to just play something just so random, a great conversation starter, something to just make you smile for a little bit, I cannot recommend Speedy Gonzales, Los Gatos Bandidos on a Super NES enough. And I'll be real with you, this is one of the games where I can fully admit, yeah, I do have some nostalgia for, because this was the Sonic game in my household. But let me tell you, it holds its own. If you don't compare it to Sonic and you just treat it as a crazy good licensed game by Acclaim from 1994, you will have fun with it. And if you don't, me and Speedy will find you. Thanks for lobbying up with me. See you guys.
Gracias.